everyone, it's Jules here from Joolsedesigns and JT Creations. So just it's a quickie. So what I've been doing is I've just been doing some stenciling with textured paste. However, I don't use textured paste. I use Fix and Grout. It fixes tiles on. I've also used polyfiller. People in America, in the USA, drywall spackle is one of the best things you can get. And what I did do, my Fix and Grout was starting to get a bit lumpy, so I took it all out, cleaned the pot out, put it back in, mixed it with a bit of gesso, a bit of white acrylic paint, and put loads of talcum powder in. So it now smells like a baby, and it's a better consistency, a lot cheaper than buying your textured paste. However, if that's what you want to use, I've used it and it's absolutely brilliant. It's just that I had that line about the house and I thought I'll try it and it's working for me. So I'm not trying to diss any companies or anything. So what I've done is I've been doing stenciling, and what I did do was I was going to take some out, decant it into a smaller or on a plate and colour it, and then I thought, no, I'll try my watercolour paints or pens or stuff, and I've got these aqua markers. They were bought in Home Bargains. I think they're £6 for a set, and you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You get 12 in a set, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets. I eventually got the lot every time I went in, and it's like all greens, all blues, all pinks, all oranges, all yellows, and all I do is you've got the dual ended, you've got your fine end, and you've got your brush end. So all I do is just get the brush end, scribble on here, and then use it with a cheapo brush. Now because it is, oops, it's stuck. I usually dry this off first before I do it, but if you put too much water on, it will wet it, so be very careful. I just spray a little bit of water on my mat next to it and just keep dipping it and then wiping it. So I've got some that I haven't coloured, and I'm just leaving them because I don't know whether I'm going to use them as pockets, part of a cluster, what type of journal they're going in, so I'll leave them to colour later. That one I just did bubbles, and I did that with the while I was in Cyprus I didn't have any stencils with me, so I stuck cereal liners together and ironed them, and then used my punch and punched out some shapes. So I did that and it works, and then I just coloured them with the peacock blue and cool shadow, and it was just to give it sort of like a water effect. You can use greys and pinks and things, whatever colour you want. This one was just part of a set of stencils I got quite cheap. I think they're a £5. They're quite thin, so you have to be careful with them. And they're that one, and I used that one, and I can't find the one that I used. Oh, there it is, I think. Yep. And I used them. I've got quite a few of them lying about. I also had some, I was at my sister's and I went to put something in the bin, and she had all these Amazon boxes. Obviously she'd been getting stuff delivered. When I looked in the boxes, because I was going to flatten them, they were full of all this packaging paper. I come round with the box and she's like looking at me as if to say, what on earth are you doing? And I started taking it out and folding it because it was in squares. She goes, what are you doing? I says, I'm taking that home. So what I'd done was I was playing with stamps while I was away, just collaging with stamps. So I did the clock one, and I did it before I actually put the talcum powder in, and I thought that would make, you know, I could cut it in half and have that as part of a journal page, you know, or I mean it's like butcher's paper, so I would need to strengthen it if I used it as a pocket. This one I did make into a pocket, and what I did with this one was when you've done the stencil with your paste, you obviously get a film of it on the stencil, and I was just putting it on this and wiping it, and I was getting patterns. So what I did was I just opened one of these sheets of paper, I've been colouring book pages, and I just did it. So I got like I thought it was nice, and I put a little bit of William Morris paper on. I've made it into a pocket. That bit will get stuck onto the journal. Made a little pocket there and put some fringing on, because I am going to be working on an autumn journal. And these are my letters, love letters I've been doing. So these are, I've printed off on, is it like newspaper paper? So when you fold them up and then you tuck them in, that's how they used to do letters years ago. They weren't all sealed and gummed and everything, you know. Sometimes they'd put like if you were not like well off, you'd have your seal on it or whatever. But I thought that would be nice, so I shoved my love letters in there. So this is a kit that will be coming out at some point. So there's a kind of a loaded pocket, and if you stick it in your journal and just do the 3 sides, you've got another pocket behind. So we'll put these out of the way. And what I did with this was I just stained it. The pages weren't brown enough for me, so I used the distress stain. So I just, and brush corduroy, just daubed them on the glass mat, sprayed a bit of water, and then just dipped them in. So I'll be back in a minute. Sorry about that. I've got a frog in my throat. You can hear my voice is like 2 pitches higher than it normally is. Right, so what am daisy? No, I'm not going to do the daisy one. Or should I do the rose one? I quite like this. I keep going back to my the cherry blossom. This was a set of stencils I got while I was in Amsterdam. I've not used that one yet, but I've used that one because I do my journal pages. I've used the rose one. I'm not sure if I've used the daisy one yet, but I think I'll have a go at stenciling at some point with it. So what I'm going to do is decide what I want. So I think I've been doing it because there's a little bit of stenciling. Just be very careful. Don't wash them out in the sink. Wipe them down a little bit first. I think if you buy stencil paste, it might be eco-friendly, but fix and grout with acrylic and everything isn't eco-friendly. So what I do is I tend to wipe it off with a wet wipe. Get most of it off before I wash it. And so what I'm going to try and do is just get this here. So if you make your own stencil paste and it's not thick enough, just buy a cheap old tub of talcum powder and just put a load in, and you'll find that it's lovely, and it lifts, it doesn't bleed. And I'm using like you can use a normal knife, you can use a credit card. You know, just whatever you use, and it's just play with it. And you know, if you're playing with kind of this stuff, it's a little bit inexpensive compared to, you know, if you don't like your results from what you've used with your modelling paste or your stenciling paste. So I mean, if you've got plaster of Paris, you know, you can use plaster of Paris. There is a couple of lumps in it, but just adds to the texture. And then all I do is I put my finger on there, and there we are. So I've got a bit here that I don't want. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe it away. Yeah, it'll leave a white mark, but and sometimes you find that the paste, I'm not sure about stenciling paste, but this stuff, because I've coloured the book pages, sometimes, you know, when it's dry and if it's too wet, it soaks up the ink from, you know, so they tend to go brown. I've got one here somewhere there, so you can see, you know, where it started. When I was drying it, it started to soak up the ink, which is fine. It adds to everything. So I'm just going to dry this off quickly and I'll be back. There we are. So it's dry and it's not too thick, and I quite like it. Yet it's bled a little bit there, but I'm not that bothered. It's gone under a bit there, but it's a nice, other than that, it's a nice crisp picture. And what I might do is I might use that as a page in a journal. I think that would be quite nice actually, and just attach that, you know, sometimes when you've got shorter pages. So I think we'll leave that one and I will do another one. So I'm going to what I want is I want this daisy, because this comes down. So what we'll do is we'll do this from this corner. Okay, that's me back. So I've just cleared everything away while I was drying that. So now we're going to do the cherry blossom. So I've just sprayed a little bit of water here. I don't know whether you can see it. And you can do this on a glass mat. The only reason I've got this here is it stops the glare from the glass mat. And this is just a cheap silicone oven tray that I got from Amazon. Okay, so and all I'm doing is I'm just dabbing nothing. I mean, this is a cheapy brush. The only reason I'm using a cheapy brush is because it does wet the modelling paste, texture paste or whatever. I'm just cutting there. It's one of those cheapy brushes that's got all the hairs sticking off it. It's not, I think half of them are falling out. Right, and that one's up there. Sap green. Oops, sorry if I... Just a bit of sap green, that colour. And if I've got a bit of pink on my brush, it doesn't matter, because usually you find that in nature, if the flower is pink, your green will be a darker green. It's got a form of pink in it. For the yellow orange flowers, you find that the leaves are a brighter green. And it's when you're mixing your colours, you know, if you're limited to your greens, you can always mix a tiny little bit of pink to it if you're colouring in red rose leaves and things like that. So if you're you know, doing daffodils, tulips, things like that, then obviously if they're red they are a bit deeper, but daffodils tend to have like a brighter green. And I suppose when you think the plant has got the chemical in that makes the flower red, so some of that chemical, well, it's running through the plant. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of green on the stem. I know it should be brown. If you mix red and green together you get brown anyway. So we'll try that. I don't think it's gone a bit mucky colour. And there we are. So I'm quite liking that. I think that's quite pretty. So there's another idea. That's all I'm doing, is I'm just giving you ideas. Where you take it from here is up to you. You know, you are your limit. You know, if you can put ideas to it, put ideas to it. You know, I would love to see other people's takes on things like this. So this one, the daisy, I'm going to get a grey blue. That might be too grey, but never mind. I know daisies aren't grey or blue, but I always like daisies to have a little bit of blue on them. And I'm using some of the peacock blue, just a tiny bit. And we'll just squirt a little bit of water. I cleared the water up because it had pink running in it and everything. Alright, so we'll take a bit of this. I'm just doing the forefront leaves. And I mean, you can do it as a pattern. You don't have to do these perfect. It doesn't really matter, does it? And then we'll put the blue on the middle ones. And we'll put the blue on this one. I was looking to see if I had any pumpkin stencils. I'm going to have to get my scan and cut out and make some, I think. Because that's me. I did an autumn kit last year. But I've done one this year. And I've done some like orangey brown tartans. You know, for sort of like the Scottish look. I know in 2018, me and my mum went to New England. We did New York, New England and Boston in the fall. And when we went up to New England, we went up right up to Vermont. We did it all. And my impression was it's very much like Scotland, but a little bit more quainter, bigger, and warmer. Well, although we weren't there in the cold weather, because one of the lodges that we stayed at had ski slopes, and they were saying like another 2 weeks and you won't be able to see anything for snow. And I was like, But we did go up on the cog rail up Mount Washington. Oh boy, was that cold. That was absolutely freezing. And me and my mum had bought these like really warm scarves the day before in one of the little shops, and they were like cashmere. Well, no, they weren't cashmere, they were like pure wool scarves, but they were quite thick and heavy. Oh, we were really thankful for those scarves because they were like shawls. And I still wear mine now here. Everybody goes, oh, where'd you get your scarf from? Got it from New England. Me and my mum liked that. And then we finished off in Boston. It's so funny because my mum doesn't drink. And we'd been wandering around Boston, and we came to the Hard Rock Cafe. And I says to my mum, I says, come on, we'll go in here and have a cup of tea or something. My mum says, okay. So we went in, and I decided I was having a drink because we'd been walking that much. And my mum decided she would have a gin and tonic. Well, I've never seen my mum giggle so much in all my life. She says, hey, Julie, I think I'm a little bit tipsy. Well, it was nice that my dad died the year before. That's why me and my mum went away. And it was nice for once to see my mum giggle, even if it was alcohol induced. Yeah, we really liked that trip. It was lovely. I did one with my sister the year before, and that was New Orleans, Nashville, Memphis. So we did 5 states over 10 days. It was great. Absolutely fantastic. I loved it. And that's the fine point. I'm just going to put a little bit of... Shouldn't really do this because it could dry up there. And then we'll just see if we can work that out. Yeah. I'm just working a little bit of the orange off the middle into the bottoms of the petals. Just give it a bit of contrast. And there we are. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you get something out of it. So remember, if you've got tile grout, polyfiller, or drywall spackle is the perfect substance for it. But unfortunately I can't get it in. You get it in big tubs. Or if you've got your, you know, whatever you use, so have a play about. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. I am trying to get sort of like to 1,000 subscribers. I'm just about there, and I have a journal to give away and some stamps and things like that. So that will come a bit later. So thank you very much, and I appreciate you coming to join me. See you in the next video. Bye.